Correct.
Okay, and then the possibility under what modality?
Metaphysical modality.
Okay. You think there's a contradiction that's entailed? Or actually,
Yeah, you don't know what to ask if there's a contradiction. You don't understand what metaphysical modality is. Contradictions are only not possible in a worldview that is metaphysically necessary. So that's the first blunder. Okay. So look, what is it in your
why are you
worldview?
getting so, what are you getting so, what are you getting so
I'm gonna
unchy
ask you the
for?
question. I'm gonna ask you the question, brother. Stop crying. Okay. What is it in your worldview? Okay, that is the final ontological referent that institutes and
Well,
secures all states of unity and diversity.
well,
What is it?
relax. Listen, you have to simmer down. You're getting a little unchy. I know you're
Okay,
excited
yeah,
to
yeah.
talk to me.
Look, I'm about to just remove you, man. If you keep with the meta tactics, this is a very simple
Look,
question.
well,
What is it in
relax.
your
Calm
worldview that
down.
is metaphysically and ontologically necessary that secures and institutes all states of unity and diversity? What is that?
Listen, I already told you. I know you're excited to talk to me. We just have to
Okay,
calm down.
have a good day, coward. Yeah, bye. All right, we're gonna get back on to Nettie. Let's see if Nettie can have a conversation.
So you're gonna answer
Nettie,
the
can you
question
just
that I posed?
define what a transcendental argument is? Can
Wait,
you just
I asked the
please
question
define
before
that?
that though.
Look, I answered your question about
What was my
phenomenological
question?
conservatism.
What was my question?
If you don't want to answer
Nope.
my
What was my
question, I'm
question?
just going to remove you, dude.
You're
If
gonna
you keep
remove me because
running
you're a
like a
coward. You know that I'm
coward,
better than you, right?
you're running like a
Remove me if I'm better
fraudulent
than you.
coward. Okay.
Remove me if I'm
So
better than
what
you.
is a transcendental argument?
I
What
already
is
asked the
that?
question prior.
That's what I thought. Yeah,
What
have
was
a
the
good day. Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude, this is pathetic. These people that you deal with, Constantine, man, these people don't come on my live. They
hello,
know that
hello.
I run that nonsense on my live.
Ice, you're on
Let's calm
stage.
down there. Let's calm down. What's going on? So, Q Talk, can I
Welcome.
ask
Are
you?
you an atheist?
Relax. Well, yeah.
Are you an
Can I ask you a
atheist?
question? Yeah.
Are you an atheist? What is your
I said yes
rational?
like 5
What
times.
is your rational justification for your God denialism?
You said for my God?
What is your rational justification for your God denialism?
Oh, yeah. So I just don't think there's good reason to accept it.
Okay, tell me you don't think there's a good reason to accept the God proposition. It just presupposes that there's a good reason to accept anything in your worldview. Can you justify that truth is epistemically accessible in your world?
Bro, with the dog.
Yes. Wait, hold on. Let me go over my dogs on that. Bro.
Yeah, he's got dogs that are barking. The dog is saying, "Leave your atheism. Stop being stupid.
You kind of look like one of the.
Stop being stupid."
Man, come on, man. Come on, Ice. Let's bring up the next one, man. All right, cool guy. Cool guy usually got some cool guy things to say.
Dude, Constantine, you've been above 200 viewers, dude.
Yeah, it's not bad. Cool guy, man. What's up? Cool guy.
Dude, that is
cool
really
guy.
good.
Do you know me?
I don't think so, man.
We've talked. I don't think we've talked before. How are you?
Well, how about yourself?
I'm doing well, man. So listen, the question is, right? And if I think you're going to pick up right where the conversation left off. Is that correct?
With the conversation with who?
With regards to, so I just want to make sure. I think the subject is important. The last question that I asked before I was distracted was when we're talking about phenomenal conservatism, and when we're asking for final ontic as far as a further mode of justification that would allow or grant a position to even be held without self-autonomy, because we're going to reject self-autonomy as any mode of justification, because we're asking the deeper question of why anything should be justified in the first place without a final ontic. Can you answer that for us?
What do you mean a final ontic?
Right.
Ontic is like, you know, ontic is like an adjective, right?
Right.
Like,
So
it's not like a noun.
Final ontological explanandum.
So, like, what do you mean? Like
Final
a
being.
thing in the worldview?
Okay, final
Like, why do you
being.
need? Why would you even need that to begin with?
Okay, great. There we go. That's where the conversation. Why do we need that to begin with? What, in your view, defeat why we would need that? I think that's great.
Okay, so you're asking me for my explanation of why you don't.
I would
need
like for you to
an ontology.
Yes, that's exactly right. I would like for you to defeat the proposition that we need a final ontic in order for any predication of truth propositions. That's what I'm asking you to defeat.
Okay, well.
Or wait, maybe that's
have,
cool guy. Maybe that's unfair. Maybe you wanted to come up and say something else.
No, we can talk about this. If you don't have a particular argument in favor of metaphysical foundationalism, then I can give you some reasons to reject the metaphysical foundationalist view.
There we go. That's fine. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I think a big problem with a lot of formulations of metaphysical foundationalism is the justification sort of already presupposes at least a kind of foundationalism. So typically the motivation is that the explanation must terminate in an ungrounded grounds. Otherwise, being as such is infinitely deferred.
What do you mean by ungrounded grounds?
Probably what you mean, like this final being, like something that doesn't have a ground but is the ground for everything else.
Yeah, as an eternal state that would ground all else, right? So you're going to have to bottom out.
Well, that's like your specific version, right?
Yeah,
But
you're good.
the idea is that it itself does not have further grounding, but grounds everything else.
Right. Yeah. Where we bottom out at. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So
Just real quick, I need to bring this dude up real quick, man, because he's really starting to. Hey, God, you want to come on up, bro? Like maybe just me and you can talk. You've been in the chats humming my name, bro. Do you want to come up and me and you can talk, bro? Or do you want to stay down there and just manifest like a coward, bro? Okay, then do that. All right, cool guy. Continue.
yeah, sorry. So I mean, I think one of the biggest problems is most of the time
I'm gonna be in and out, Constantine. I'm helping my wife out with something, but I'm still here.
Okay.
the motivation for such a view is that you already sort of need such a thing. Like the whole charge against the anti-foundationalists is that being is infinitely deferred, so you never really account for being. But that kind of already presupposes that the metaphysical foundationalist position is true. Because if you're an anti-foundationalist, you already reject that being is going to be infinitely deferred, or that an explanation can't account for being without such a foundation. So you're kind of assuming in advance that the only satisfactory metaphysical explanation for being is something that is an ungrounded ground, but that's kind of the thing you've set out to prove. So I think that's one of the primary reasons. Like when you ask me that question, you already seem to presuppose foundationalism is true.
Yeah, and so it sounds like if you're saying, so let me ask you a question. I think I heard you correctly, but if you say that appealing to this final ontic explanation presupposes its truth, and so therefore we cannot account for the being itself, and so then what non-circular epistemic method do you use to access the nature of an ultimate reality without presupposing anything? And why I think this because it seems now that it doesn't stand the weight of its claim. So the motivation, if you're saying the motivation of a final ontic never accounts for being and presupposes that final ontic is true, then what happens now necessarily as an entailment, every other worldview must posit a final ontic category, use it to explain being, presuppose it in order for reason, and that includes naturalism. That includes idealism. That would include.
Hey, yo, Constantine, real quick, man. Kay's in the guest box. She said you didn't give her mod. She said it.
I need to bring her up so I can give her.
Okay.
So
yeah,
I
Kay,
tried to raise her. Yeah.
Yeah, if you just join the live, she said she's in the guest box, Constantine.
I don't see her in the guest box.
You gotta send her, babe. You gotta send her.
I got her. I'm gonna accept her. I'm gonna bring her up, bring her mod, and then.
Hello.
But yeah, she said she's gonna try to get rid of the trolls, some of the trolls, man.
She's spinning in the box. Well, I think I can do. Okay, now I got her. Hey, Kay, how you doing? Let me just go ahead and mod you up, girl. And then we'll get back to cool guy.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, but it kind of just sounds like you're begging the question again.
Okay, hold on. I got it.
Yeah, Constantine's getting ready to jump on you, cool guy, like a tiger jumps on its prey.
Okay, bro. You just got your train ran on you like 4 different people somewhere down there. Anyways,
bro, why?
I need cope laughs.
Yo,
Don't worry, man. That'll repair your image.
that cope is crazy.
Schizophrenic.
Wait, cool guy.
Fucking
What
madman.
point did I get beat on, man? What point?
I think you didn't respond at all to Fake Farm County against Rancho. I'll say he didn't expect me to be able to answer. So notice this is what he did here, guys. He didn't expect me to provide an answer for an actual point he lost on. So when I instantly was able to identify a point he very clearly lost on, he tried to cut me off with this really weird cope laugh because he understands that is a point that he obviously lost on. And not only did he not reply to the fake barn
What's the
County,
point?
he didn't
Brother,
reply to really any of the Gettier stuff. All he said is build a distinction between truth and justification.
You're just doing
as if
meta.
that isn't already something that is entailed by the target phenomena that we're trying to analyze when we try to explain
what point did I get beat on, man?
So all he did is just say,
okay, yeah. So you're gonna stop like going into this like weird like psychological mental episode, okay? Because I know you're coping. Okay? So what I want you to do
it's
is I want you to stop panicking, okay? And I want you to very clearly articulate the point that I got beat on, okay? And now I'm gonna clip you. Okay? So go ahead and tell me the point I got.
Okay, I'll repeat it for you, don't worry. So I think the point that you lost on, one of the many points you lost on, was the fake Barn County point, and I already said that.
The fake what?
The
Okay, so
Getty.
you don't.
The Getty.
This is gonna be the third time saying it, so
The
I
Getty
really
thought
want you to
experiment.
listen this time.
The
So,
Gettier case.
the
Okay, one
fifth-
second. So can you repeat my argument?
Yeah, so he gave the fake Barney count, and then you just repeated some gibberish about how, well, the concept of justification, the concept of truth, they're not the same, as if that already isn't entailed by the target phenomena of justification. And one of the
Wait, that
fundamental
wasn't
data
my
that we use
argument.
to
Wait, one
analyze
second. So can you
justification.
clearly articulate
That
my
wasn't-
argument? That
Yeah,
wasn't
that was
my
your
argument.
argument.
That
Yeah,
wasn't my
you're saying that
argument.
truth and
Okay, one second. So
justification are not the same
that
thing.
shows.
And then
One
something
second.
being true does not
So
entail that it's justified. That was your response to fake Barn
that
County.
shows that
That
you don't
shows
even
that
know
your
my argument.
argument did not at all answer fake Barn County. I agree.
What was my argument?
Can
what
you
was my
recapitulate fake Barn County? What is
What
fake
was
Barn
my
County?
argument?
I just explained it. I just said it.
It wasn't
Now it's your turn.
recapitulation. That
I
wasn't
just
my
explained
argument.
it. Okay.
So you don't
now
even know
it's
what
your
my
turn. What was
argument
fake Barn
is.
County?
So look. So next time,
Next time, I'm
you
gonna keep
cope,
stuttering all over
at
myself if I
least
try to
be
dip my way
able
through
to
the city of
repeat
Dexter
the
because I don't actually have a
argument.
response to fake
At,
Barn County.
at least
Just
be
repeat what fake Barn County
At
is.
least be able to repeat the argument.
I just did.
Next time you cope, at least be able to repeat it. That wasn't my argument. Okay. I said they're conceptually distinct. Do you know what a conceptual distinction is?
I just said that.
What's a
I just
conceptual
said that.
distinction?
I literally just said that.
What's a
Wait,
conceptual distinction?
hold on. Just to be clear, you think that me saying the concepts of truth and justification are not the same is not to say that there's a conceptual distinction between them, dumb fuck?
No, that's not what conceptual distinctions
No, that's not what those words mean, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, he's crashing.
That's not what those words mean.
What is a conceptual
your view,
distinction?
saying that there's a conceptual distinction
Oh
between
my
two things
this
is
guy
not the same as
crashing
saying
out, dude.
that there's
This
a
is
difference
sad.
in the concept
Dude,
between X, the difference
what's
in
a
the concept between
conceptual
Y.
distinction? That's not what a conceptual distinction is. That's literally not what it is in the literature.
So just to be clear, by
my
conceptual
gosh.
distinction,
Wait,
you
wait,
mean
wait, wait,
that it's not the
wait. No,
same to
I'm
say
flipping this. Where's
that
St.
there
Paul?
is a
What is
difference
a
in
conceptual
concept A and
distinction?
concept B.
What's a conceptual distinction?
If you're not using the way I just use it, then I'm not.
That's not
using
the
it
formal
definition.
definition, you coward.
There's not one formal definition of the word
fraud.
conceptual distinction, you fucking idiot.
Absolute
The
intellectual
conceptual distinction in
fraud.
what literature? What are you even
Wait,
talking about?
one second. What is a conceptual distinction?
I just
I'm going to ask you the
fucking
question
answered.
again. You said a distinction that's conceptual. That's gibberish. What is a conceptual
That's not
distinction?
what I said, you fucking idiot.
Okay, so what is it? What is it?
Okay, so you need me to repeat it?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, dumb fuck.
What is it?
So
What is it?
a conceptual distinction is just a distinction that holds between concept A and concept B. That's how I defined it.
You
That's
just
not
said
what
the
it
same
is.
thing. You stupid coward. Oh my gosh, bro. Dude. Oh my gosh. He said a conceptual distinction is when two concepts are distinct. He said a conceptual distinction is when concept A is distinct from concept B. That's not what a conceptual distinction is. A conceptual distinction is when things are not actually separated in reality. A conceptual distinction is a type of formal distinction. A conceptual is distinction, the type of distinction in virtue of the way that we understand the thing, not in the thing in and of itself. It's not just that it's a different concept. That's gibberish.
Your heart rate.
That's just you repeating the words. You absolute fraud. That was disgusting, bro. Somebody clip that, dude. That was absolutely disgusting. He said a conceptual distinction is when concept A is distinct from concept B. No, that's not what a conceptual distinction is.
You know he's gone, right?
Oh my
look at the
gosh, dude, that was absolutely embarrassing.
Cool,
New guess.
I wonder if you can respond to this. When it was
What's up?
originally the proposition was, well, this seems to be circular, or this seems to be begging the question, right? And then what I want to ask at this point is, what non-circular epistemic method do you use in order to access an ultimate reality that does not presuppose your own final ontic commitments? If you are going to assume that there's no need for a metaphysical final ontic, and then a purport to defeat that, I need to ask what non-circular epistemic method would access criteria of some sort of ultimate reality that is aside from yourself, or is it yourself?
Well, again, you're assuming that in specific, what are you asking metaphysical grounding for?
If you are so let's say if you say, right, well, you know what, this may be unfair because you're picking up a conversation that you didn't originally purport. So maybe I should back up and say, is this something that you're tail end of a conversation on someone else's point, which is unfair to you? Let's let you make your own point.
Well, let's ask. I want to ask.
You're fine. You're fine with that. Okay.
Yeah. I have a question for Q-Top. Q-Top, you're a smart guy, so can you explain to me what a conceptual distinction is, since you disagreed with Cool guy. That's a question for you. It's your social feed on.
Wait.
There you go.
Did somebody mention my name?
Right. If he can't answer,
That's
then
right.
if you can't answer that, then I will. If you want me to answer what a conceptual.
Wait, what did he say? I didn't hear what he said. I'm multitasking.
He's asking for what a conceptual distinction is. So I'll answer that. In a conceptual distinction, this is just simply the difference in the mind and of the thing itself, not in the thing itself. So if I'm saying something is conceptually distinct, this is when two things are distinguished by our concept, but not by any real division in the object. So it is a distinction in how we think, not in what exists. So there's some key features of a conceptual distinction, right? What can exist in the intellect and not itself in reality? It could be based on, let's think about it like two different ways of conceiving the same thing. But it does not imply separability. It does not imply composition. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, it seems like we agree. I'll just read it. I'll reiterate what I think it is. So it's how we cohere with the objects in question. Are we talking about like our mental representation of the objects in question, and then from what we attach to them, we can distinguish between them because obviously there's going to be things that correspond and don't correspond with those things. And then that's precisely what Cool Guy said. Do you agree?
No. So look, a conceptual distinction is not a distinction between two concepts. That's not what a conceptual distinction is. That's gibberish. That's gibberish.
You stuttered 3 times.
Okay, yeah, these people don't want to have a conversation. Yeah, like look at this, Constantine. Like these people, this is the cope of atheism. For all the 200 people in the chat, this is what they have to resort to. These people literally have no arguments. I have single-handedly crushed every single atheist, coward, fraud that has come up here and tried to pose an argument against the Christian worldview. Right? This is what we're dealing with. So, Coolbert, you have no idea what a conceptual distinction is, bro.
I just explained it.
What's a formal distinction?
Agreed with me.
Coolbert, what's a formal distinction versus a virtual distinction?
What do you mean by formal?
So you don't know what it is, dude. We say, what do I mean? I'm using the formal definition.
Question. I'm asking you
what's a formal distinction? I'm asking you to know what it is.
Question?
Do you know what it is?
It depends what you mean by formal.
Dude, have a good day. Like, Kazi, this is what I'm saying with these people, bro. Like,
bro. Just for chat purposes, I'm trying to keep you guys included in the conversation because sometimes this gets really high up in jargon. When we say a formal distinction, what we mean is a distinction that is real in a thing, but not separated from just merely conceptual, right? It's between it's like about
formalities,
right? So what's is it objectively grounded in the thing itself? It's not identical in definition. It's just inseparable in existence. You know, it sits between something. Like a real distinction would be stronger, and a conceptual distinction would be, weaker.
Exactly. Yeah, that's perfect.
I'm just trying. The only reason I'm doing this is not to defeat it. If you just try to keep the audience, So I think we got to guess.
Yeah, because people come up, they have no idea what they're talking about, and then they don't know the definition of words, and so they try to do this weird thing, and they say, "Well, what do you mean by that?" I'm using the formal definition, right? So either you know what it means or you don't. There's only one formal definition. I'm using the formal definition.
Crispy, you're up, dog.
I just have 2 questions, I guess, for either one of you, really.
What's up, man?
Oh, so really easy, yes or no. Is God all-knowing?
Is this Tupac?
No.
God all-knowing, yes. In propositional knowledge or experiential knowledge, what do you mean by all-knowing?
Just all-knowing. He knows everything.
Yeah, in propositional knowledge or experiential knowledge, what do you mean by that?
What do you mean by
that? Come on, Ludacris. This is your argument. You're asking the questions. Propositional knowledge or experiential knowledge, because we've got to cash out what we mean by that.
Why can't he have both?
Because then you would be saying
he's all powerful,
ridiculous.
Right?
You would be okay, when you mean by all powerful, what do you mean by omnipotent? You mean he can do ridiculous things, or you mean that he can experience things like he can be the progenitor of evil? He can experience what it's like to be malicious. Like there's all types of built-in presuppositional baggage to your question, and I can kind of detect it from my own angle. So I need you to cash out exactly what you mean by all-knowing. Do you mean it in the propositional sense, or do you mean it in the experiential sense? Because of
In
that
the experiential sense.
Okay, well then he would be knowledgeable about suffering. Now what else?
Okay, well, if he is all knowing, right, by that logic, by that reasoning, would he know what it's like to suck a big fat cock?
Okay, yeah, that's why I said experiential knowledge versus what? That's why I said, is there experiential
Propositional.
knowledge versus propositional? So no, he would not know because that's an experiential knowledge.
So he's not all
blunder.
knowing.
Huge blunder, idiot. That's why I said propositional versus experiential. Clown. Next. Saw that one coming.
Hello.
Yo, what up?
I just wanted to see what you guys thought or how you guys would like handle this specific, like I guess like claim defeater for a tag. Basically, just saying that it's not possible for God to be necessary because he's dependent upon the laws of logic.
Okay, why would he be dependent upon the laws of logic? And what have we mentioned so far that was tag? Do you think arguing from the position of a final ontic is tag, or do you think all transcendental arguments are transcendental arguments for God?
I guess not. I thought because I wasn't paying that clear of attention. I just heard some like transcendental arguments and just was
What do
curious
you think
about.
a transcendental argument is?
Transcendental argument is essentially an argument showing why X is necessary in order for Y to obtain or to exist.
Okay, flesh that out.
Basically, if there's some entity Y, the necessary transcendental reasoning would say what is the necessary preconditions for this thing to exist.
Let me just help you out. X must be true because X is a necessary precondition for the possibility of X. X is, X is a necessary precondition for Y to be true. Y therefore X. Typically, how it's formulated. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if you've heard any. We're arguing for a final ontic state, which doesn't necessarily have to be tag, just simplicator. But I think what you're asking about, let's say the invariance of logic, from our position, we would hold that those would need an undergirding context that would have a final ontic. So I guess in that sense that you'd be correct, but I don't know why that would assume that the laws of logic would be dependent, or excuse me, why God would be dependent upon those laws of logic if he's a progenitor of all experience.
Yeah.
It wouldn't follow. It seems like you put the cart before the horse.
Yeah, all the laws of logic are just abstractions, and abstractions don't stand in a causal relation. So the laws of logic are necessary, transcendental, independent concepts which need a mind. Laws of logic are correct thinking about the world, and laws of logic are reflections of the mind of God.
So I guess.
Well, I got a lot of guests, man. So if you have an argument.
I guess like the argument or the response is basically just saying that like all entities necessarily need the laws of logic to be true. And it's a Platonist position, so it's just saying that the laws of logic.
Would it be logically coherent to say that they're not true without variance of logic in order to appeal to?
Wait, repeat that?
Yeah, would it be cogent if I made a statement without depending upon any, at least term logic at its most basic sense? It would seem like it would be incoherent to say otherwise. You would need some sort of relational. You would need to have some sort of form of relation to even put a sentence structure together, which would follow in some state of being a source of ration, which would be indexed to logic itself. Would you not agree?
I guess let me try to steelman and see if like it's correct. Are you basically saying that like to make any statement at all, it has to necessarily the laws of logic necessarily must be true? Is that like?
Well, yeah. I mean, do you disagree that the laws of logic are true.
No, yeah. So I don't disagree. Like that,
I think I might have derailed you a little bit.
yeah. So my position is basically this. So it's a Platonist position. It's basically just saying that the only